And number 3, they already have the decimal points lined up for you. What was your final answer for your difference?
0 is 17.
We'll pass. There you go, 705,000.
Okay, guys, I need you all to look at your Chromebooks. Make sure you have your own, okay? If you're not sure if the name's not on it anymore, but the number is, this is the number I'm looking for. 1906 1025. Okay?
Everybody have your own?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Next one. We have got 705,000, right? For number 3. Number 4. If the rate is 50 miles in 1 hour and the truck travels for 3.5 hours, how do you figure out how many miles that will be? Clayton.
First, you have 50 times 3 to multiply 50 times 3.
Okay.
150. And half of 50 times 4 is half of an hour. 175.
Half of 50 was how much?
25.
Okay, yeah. All right, so your total was?
175.
All right. And could you say without an and in there?
175 miles.
Thank you. And number 5, how do we find the perimeter of that triangle? And you came up with? And we need a label? Pardon? Degrees? No. 15 units, yes, 15 units. And number 6, you do that division, what did you come up with? What did you come up with? And there's a decimal point in there, it's 1 in 1,200, 1 in 1,200. Okay? And number 7, what is your product?
How is this stretching? 36,108.
And you threw an and in there? Throw that and out?
36,108.
There you go, 36,108. And number 8, estimate for the measure of that angle. 126 degrees, yes, yes. Number 9. Factors or numbers that are modified to get a product, that is true. And the distance around a polygon is called the perimeter. Please record your score. And then, did we already go over our answers to 307 and 308? Okay. I didn't think we had.
You haven't checked them, but
We talked, what?
You've gone over them, but you haven't had time to. What?
Did I go over the answers?
No. You didn't.
Okay. I know I didn't sign them off on your folders, but did I go over the answers?
No.
Okay, I was going to if we had time, but we did not have time because people were still taking I read. Correct?
To do the whole call.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. I'm just making sure. Let's take a look at that, please.
What page is
All right. Compatible numbers. You have to know your products, your factors. You have to be well versed in your basic facts. So as we take a look at number, we did the evens, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. As we take a look at number 2, I would think that like maybe 360 divided by 9 equals 400 would be an option. Yes? Or 400 divided by 10 equals 40 would be an option. Okay. Question, Ezra?
Would 390 and divided by 10 will be correct?
39, yep, I would accept that. Number 4, how about 60 divided by 5 equals 12, or 65 divided by 5 equals 13? Either of those would be options.
I just see about that's fine.
That was one I read. I do believe I read that, did I not? I thought that came out of my mouth. Sometimes I don't know, but I thought I did. All right. Number 6. The most logical one there would be 160 divided by 40 equals 4. I don't know if there's any others that would be close that would be considered compatible. Ezra?
80 and 30.
That would be too far away. Okay? Number 8. 3 and 0 tenths divided by 6 equals 5 tenths. Or 2 and 4 tenths divided by 6 equals 4 tenths. Would be the two most logical ones to use. Yes?
Okay. 3.8.
Okay, so you changed the 6 to a 7 and you got 4 tenths. I would accept that. Okay.
What was number 16?
160 divided by 40 equals 4. Number 10, 200 divided by 50 equals 4 would be the most logical ones to use there. 200 divided by 50 equals 4. Number 12, 240 divided by 80 equals 3 would be the most logical one to use there. Questions on any of those? Yes? Yeah. Number 14, 400 divided by 20 equals 20, or 360 divided by 18 equals 20. Those would be the two that would be most logical to use there. What? Questions on that? I know, but you got, we'll try to go out. Save those glasses for safety. Questions?
He almost put his eyeball.
Well, he did. His glasses hadn't been in, and eyeball would have been gone. Number 1 on the next page. Again, an estimate. 63 divided by 7 is 9, would have been the most logical thing to use there, and label would have been miles. Eduardo?
I use 60 divided by 10.
What?
I use 60 divided by 10.
And got what? Okay, you're starting to get quite a bit a ways away from the actual, because now you're dividing by 10. And 10 is 3 away from 7. 7 is not very many to begin with, and you're already a third, half again more type thing. Does that make sense? Okay, so you're getting quite a bit of ways away. Okay,
I did 64 divided by 89.
that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. Number 2, 900 divided by 30 equals 30. Probably the best one there. Number 3, you would do 9 multiplied by 1 and 19 hundredths to get 10 and 71 hundredths pounds. And number 4, you would do 200 divided by 24 to get 8 remainder 8. However, the question is, how many boxes does the bookstore receive?
9 boxes.
9 boxes is the final answer. Okay? Questions on that one? And number 5, 2,000 divided by 10 moves the decimal point 1 to the left, making it $200. And number 6, it's greater than because the thousandths place is a 0 compared, or no, the hundredths place is a 3 compared to a 2. Hundredths place is a 3 compared to a 2. What questions do you have for me? Yes? 10 and 71 hundredths pounds. Anything else? All right. Today's lesson then. Today's lesson. I think I haven't taught much math this week. I ready and I ready. And an assessment. Oh. Today we're going to do decimal divided by a whole number. Okay, decimal divided by a whole number. All right. Now, a good place where we use decimals divided by a whole number is with money. With money. Okay. So if you had like $5.25 and you had to divide it up by 5 people. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. So that's a decimal divided by a whole number. Okay. So let's turn to page 309, please. And in 309, we have this 5 and 68 hundredths that we are dividing by 4. 5 and 68 hundredths that we're dividing by 4. Okay. Because we're dividing by a whole number, nothing changes in that 5 and 68 hundredths as far as that decimal point. Okay? So our decimal point's not going to move, so we're just going to take it straight up, and we're going to leave it right there. We're going to leave it right there. It's not going to change. So move it up, We've got it placed, we're done with it. So that should be the first thing that you do. Because we're just dividing it by a whole number. All right? So we want to know how many 4s are in 5. 1. We subtract and we get 1. We bring down the 6. And now we're actually asking ourselves, how many 4s are in 16/10ths? Because we're now out in tenths place. Does that make sense? Okay? So how many 4s are in 16/10ths? 4. So that'd be 4/10ths because we already have our decimal point placed. Does that make sense? That makes sense to everybody? Okay? Now we drop down the 800ths. And how many 4s are in 800ths? 2. 2. And it's 200ths. And we're done. Okay? Yes.
That's basically just like normal.
Only our decimal point is involved. Yes. Okay? All right? But you understand that at this point it was 16/10ths that we were talking about, and here it was 800ths that we were dividing up 4 ways. You understand that? Okay? So if we were using a model, okay, this would have represented the whole amount, tenths and hundredths, right? Okay? So we would have had 4 whole amounts here, or 5, what was it? 5 whole amounts. We had to split it out into 16 of those so that we could get equal groups, right? Because we had some left over. Does that make sense? Okay. So if we had money, we had $5.25 and we're dividing it among 5 people, we would need 5 ones so that we could give everybody a $1 bill. Does that make sense? Okay. And if we had 25 cents that we needed to divide among 5 people, we would need 5 nickels to give everybody 1 nickel. Does that make sense? Okay? So we're splitting it out as best we can. All right? So let's move on to the next page. $40.89, and we're dividing it 47 ways. 47 ways. So we can do an estimate first. And if we look at our estimate, what they are suggesting we use is this 40,000 hundredths. We understand why it's hundredths. Anybody have a question why it's hundredths? Do you have a question on why?
I was gonna say why, but if it's 100, the decimal point would go to the left.
Yes. And that was $40.89 there. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Divided by, we're going to use 50 instead of that 47. So we're using compatible numbers. Does everybody understand that? Yes, no? Okay. So 40 divided by 5 is 8. One of our zeros cancels. Yes? We okay? Are you underlining and canceling like I am?
Yes.
We have 1 0 left, so we need to multiply by 10. Right? But it's 80 hundredths. Right? Well, 80 hundredths is written like this. So it would be 80 cents. Okay? So our estimate is 80 cents. Are you clear on that? Okay? So now let's work the actual. Well, because this is a whole number, we don't need to move our decimal point around anywhere. It's just going to go right up here. Okay? Is 47 going to 4?
No.
Is it going to 40?
No.
Okay? So we got to clear over to the tenths place, right? Well, because our estimate was 80 cents, we're going to try 47 times 8. Go ahead and do that. What did you get?
454.
They are just understand. 376.
You good with that? We dropped down our 9. Look how close we are to what we had when we multiplied by 8. So what should we try? What? 7. So 47 times 7. Lane?
33, 329.
All right. So we got 87. And it was a money problem, so 87 cents. Is that close to 80 cents?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions on that? Anybody? Okay. All right. Do we know how to use multiplication to check our work? How do we use multiplication to check our work? Finley? Okay. Okay. So go ahead and check your work on this one. Your 87 cents times your 47. 87 cents times your 47. Hey, Winnie, can you look at your Chromebook and see if you happen to pick up Oliver Roth's Chromebook? Look at your Chromebook and make sure it's yours. Is it yours? It's hers. Thank you. A lot of wasted time. What should you have ended up with when you multiplied, Eduardo?
40.
Yes, 40 and 89 hundredths. Did you end up with 40 and 89 hundredths?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Questions on that? So your actual answer multiplied by the 47. Okay. Questions? All right. Let's take a look down here at the bottom. 4 and 92 hundredths divided by 2. And they gave you an answer of 246. So you're supposed to write the quotient with the decimal point placed correctly. So here we're using our compatible numbers to know where to place the decimal point. Okay. We're dividing by 2. So we can keep that dividing by 2. What should we use for 4 and 92 hundredths?
5.
I would not use 5. I would not use 6. I would use 4. What's 4 divided by 2? Okay. All right. If that's the case, where would I put my decimal point based on an estimate of 2? In between the 2 and the 4. Okay. Does that make sense? Take a look at number 2. Number 2. What would you do with number 2?
We could change it to 38.
You would do 50 divided by 40? Probably not. 50 divided by 50? 40 divided by 40. Either way, you would get 1, right? And where would the decimal point belong? All right. So do we understand again how to use estimates to know where to place the decimal point? Questions? All right. Okay. Any questions on dividing a decimal by a whole number? How to use an estimate to know where to place the decimal point? All righty. I want to talk to you about e-learning on Monday. E-learning on Monday. Okay. Monday, you will be sent directions through Google Classroom. It is set to go out at 8 a.m. Okay. There will not be any Zooming. It is just sent out through Google Classroom for you to do and to complete. All right. There is an Ed puzzle. There is a Kahoot. And I will be handing out the test tutor for next week. It is part of your e-learning on Monday. You will have directions in Google Classroom, and then you will have links in Google Classroom for you to complete for the Ed puzzle and the Kahoot. You guys all know how to use Google Classroom. I should not be getting 500 emails on where is everything. Okay? It'll be there. You know that there's stuff in the stream and in classwork, right? All right, Mrs. Cole and I already have it set up to just open up on Monday morning. I'll be double checking it. Okay, but we've already looked, it's sitting there. Okay, we set it up yesterday, it is sitting there, waiting to open up for you. All right, so unless there's a big crash out there somewhere in the internet world, it should automatically just be there for you. Okay, and because we had to do it 5,000 times last spring, it should be there. Okay, but I will double check. I'll be able to tell if it pops up or not come Monday morning. Okay, now test tutor. The plan with it is you complete all of them as part of your e-learning on Monday and turn it in Tuesday. I will grade it Tuesday so that you know how much more work you have to do for the rest of the week. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? But the expectation is that all 10 of them are done when you come to class on Tuesday. That makes sense? Okay? So I'm sending home paper copies today because I can't hand you a paper copy on Monday.
Can we do on this weekend
Okay.
to get it over with?
Lane, will I know whether you did it over the weekend or on Monday? Do I need to answer that question then? Sure don't. Okay, that makes sense? I'm not going to come to your houses and check on that. Okay? So, how you manage your time is up to you. I know what I would be doing with my time. Okay? Lane, I know what I'd be doing with my time. I'd be managing it quite well, like you're thinking. Okay? That makes sense? All right? Questions? All right. Your assignment on this will be due on, no, let me think here. It's due on Tuesday. Let me explain how next week is going to go, because with us having e-learning on Monday, that's our normal routine. So Mrs. Paul and I had a nice conversation about next week. We tried to plan out for like 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure I got the right week in my brain here. Let me take a quick look at. Okay, so for next week, we have e-learning on Monday. You're turning in your test tutor on Tuesday. It should be done. We'll do a writing and a problem solving on Tuesday. We will not do an assessment because we have not done many new topics this week, much less had time to we gave you a new topic today, but we haven't had time to talk about it, if you know it, that kind of stuff. We did not feel like an assessment was even appropriate for next week because we haven't really covered anything new. Okay? So let's have the assignment due on Tuesday. We'll go over it on Tuesday so that Wednesday we're ready to move on to the next new topic and you'll have bigger study time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Then the week of the 14th. Week of the 14th, then we'll be back on our normal schedule of an assessment on Tuesday. Okay? All right?
I thought it was on the 18th.
What?
What?
I thought Lane's birthday was on the 18th. No, it's on the 15th.
Okay.
Your birthday was mine.
All right. So, are we clear on how next week is going to go? All right. Okay. So, your assignment today then, and we've got lots of study time. Let's take a look at page 313 and 314, please.
I'm going to get my head at my 15th.
Okay, on 313, let's do,
No, oh, yeah. Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 11, do the estimate and the actual.
So, when I can find me?
I don't know how much clearer I can be up here. If you are going to ask questions like that, then you'll need to stay after class and we'll get those answered, okay? You might need more time to write that down. Okay?
We did it back.
And then let's do all on this one.
Yes. I like the back. I like the back part.
Okay, and this is due on Tuesday.
So I have to get it.
Okay, a reminder that daily word and grid sums are due today. That is what you should focus on first if you don't have that done. And I do not give study time for chit chat. I give study time to get your math work done.
Hey.
4, 6, 8, 10, and 11. Valerie, get busy. Too much chit chat for those who want to get stuff done. Hey. Okay, I'm gonna figure it out. What? 2 equals 8. Daily word, I have it from Evan, Monte, Tyler, Eduardo, Ezra, Peyton Holloway, Adam, Cesar, Jonathan, Lane, Piper, and Audra. If you think you've turned yours in otherwise, you need to come see me. Make sure you guys turn in your Friday work.